Good evening. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about fear and faith. The interesting thing about these two is that one is the negative or perceived as such, and one is more of the positive. But I would suggest to you that you can't be sitting on the fence. You cannot be expressing fear and faith at the same time. You're either going to stand in your faith in that which is within you. You're going to express your faith, stand in your faith, and trust your faith. Or you're going to be operating from fear. Many of us, especially in this day and age, and especially over the last year, have been observing so much fear. People are afraid of each other, afraid of themselves, afraid of family and friends. It's unfortunate that in 2021, and I would imagine the age of Aquarius, I expected us to be acting a whole lot better than we are. It's almost as if many of us want to go back to the 1950s. Was it really such a great time? That time of massive intolerance and disrespect for people that were not of your same religion, not of your same town, not of your same race. Do we really want to go back to that? Or do we want to embrace what we have an opportunity to have now? Faith in each other, faith in our fellow man, faith in that idea that we all have more in common than we are different. Moving into that and talking about having that faith that it'll all work out. What happened to that? What happened to having that knowledge and that wisdom that this too shall pass? We have become a nation of fearful people. That's not how that's not how the United States was ever created. When we look at our history sometime, that history, we'd always come together and there always been people we fought for those things that we believed in. As we moved from the society of the East and as we traveled going west all the way to the coast of California, driven by the need for change, for adventure, to expand our horizons. What happened to that? What happened to that tolerance and that allowance for people to be what they are, who they are, why they are? Granted, we have to have certain rules in society. We have to have a collectiveness that we can all at least agree on so that we can have some semblance of peace. But I caution that being in faith makes you a lot more tolerant, knowing that things will be okay. They may look dark now, but there's always a light on the horizon. It's always up to you how you're going to move through life. It's always your choice. But making a decision to be afraid, making a decision to be afraid of everything and everybody is not going to bring you happiness. It's not even going to bring you a sense of safety. It's only going to bring you sadness and feelings of being alone, feelings of being rejected, and feelings of just being out here on a desert island. And I would suggest to you that humanity wasn't created that way. We really were created to be here for each other as we grow, as we evolve, as we learn to be better people. And as I look around sometimes, I think, how did we get here? This is 2021. And I, for one, thought we'd be a whole lot better. And I think in some portions we are. There are some that really have evolved and evolved very strongly and become much better than they were when they first entered this realm. But so many of us have a long way to go. One of the things that we have to do is have control of our own minds. We need to stop being puppets. And what I mean by that is letting the loudest person that steps up to the mic govern how you think, govern what you think. Where is your faith? Your faith in the ultimate goodness? Where is that? And I would suggest to those, if you really have your faith in a creator, in a universal father, in a cosmic being, in God, wherever it is, and if that is your faith, then I ask you this simple question: why are you in such fear? Because I know for me, having a faith in a cosmic father, having a faith that my creator is not an absentee landlord, and having faith that everything is to a degree as it should be for our own evolution, then I'm not afraid of a lot of the stuff that's going on today. I'm saddened by much of it because sometimes fear brings out the very ugliness that humanity has. And sometimes man's inhumanity to man can make me very, very sad and heavy in my heart. And I can only stop and hope that they come to their senses. I can only stop and hope that fear does not govern. It's got a big chokehold, but I have to know that in the end, it will not win out. You see, we've always had a problem with fear. Humanity, that's one of humanity's bugaboos. I remember there was a president, a past president, I think it was Roosevelt, who said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And that is true today as it ever has been in the history of man. You must get to a place where you are not governed by your fears. You must get to a place where you really take your faith out of the box and take it out for a test drive. Exercise that faith, that you shout to the rooftops and claim that you have. Exercise that, trust that, believe in that. And let that faith be your guiding principle, not something that you pick up or dust off whenever you're feeling basically very frightened. You know, we tend to really be in faith if we're facing some kind of traumatic illness, and then all of a sudden everything is about God. Save me from myself. But how about staying in your faith? How about walking in your faith, talking your faith? You see, I'm always reminded that one person, one single person with a high vibration on this planet can raise the vibration of 1,000 people. So can you imagine what 1,000 of us holding a high vibration can do for the planet? In order to sustain a high vibration, or even to attain a high vibration, in order to help, in order to be that beacon of light, you cannot be walking in fear. You cannot help your fellow man if you are gripped in fear. And make no mistake about it, you must decide which way you're going to stand or which way you're going to fall. Are you going to fall on the side of faith, or are you going to fall on the side of fear? But there is no straddling the fence, people. It's an either or proposition. So those of us that are self-proclaimed light bearers and light bringers, those of us that say we're on the planet to help, or we came back at this time period to help, then be about helping. And how can you help? Holding a higher vibration of love and light, and above all, faith. How can you help? Staying out of fear. How can you help when your friends start with their fear mongering? You can just say a silent, silent affirmation. This too shall pass, and all is well. See those people in light. Stop joining in the conversation. Because every time you join in the conversation, instead of spreading light, you put fuel on the flame of fear. We have to stop this. Fear has become a runaway train. We're afraid of each other. We're afraid to even be civil. There's so much anger running around. Sometimes when I go out, I can feel it when I'm in my car. I can feel it. I can feel it every time I'm coming to a stoplight and they're coming to a stoplight and I've got the right of way and they decide I'm just not going to stop. I'm going to jump in front of you anyway. Just because I have the right to just go. Those feelings, those senses of entitlement, and it doesn't matter who you are because you know who you are. Feelings of entitlement that make you think that you don't have to consider others. But you do. You don't share this planet. You share this planet. You live here on this planet. No, you don't want to share. And those of you that may be listening, you know who you are. You may feel that you don't want to share, but I've got a news flash for you. This is not your world, and this is not your planet. No matter who you may be, it is not. This planet was not put here specifically for your little group. Whatever group you may belong to that thinks you have a right to be obnoxious. You don't. Ultimately, you're just like the rest of us, moving through your evolutionary path, trying to work out your kinks and your bugaboos, and ultimately to be the best person that you know how to be. And I always say, newsflash, heaven was not created just for you and your little special group of people. You can finish the sentence however you want, because this is not about that. But this is about knowing and creating that space of love and light that allows you to wish the best for everyone that you come in contact with, wherever they are vibrating, to silently. They used to say a long time ago, silently give a blessing. Do that now. Silently, they'll be okay. And don't participate in the fear. It doesn't need any more flame because the bonfire is already over our heads. If we're going to turn things around, we're going to have to get out of our fears. We're not going to be able to turn things around until we do. We have to stop panicking as a mob that is a runaway train that is hanging on every word of some expert and start to stand in our faith, whatever that may be, and starting to make those decisions for health. Because I can promise you, wherever you focus, whatever you lend your energy to, whatever you lend your mind to, you will experience, you will create. So I would suggest to you, if you don't want to express or experience some of the stuff going on the planet, then you need to remove your energy from it. And instead, use your very considerable mental faculties to visualize love and light and faith. Not fear of your fellow man that you share this planet with. And don't misunderstand me. I know there's a lot going on. And you may even think right now, what planet am I on? Well, I can tell you right now, I'm on this one. And I have a lot more faith in our fellow man than you might imagine. But I also have faith in a creator, and I don't believe that the creator is an absentee landlord. So I stand in that faith, and I stand in that knowing that all things really do work together for good. And that enough people believe in that will cause a fundamental shift. And so won't you join me today in creating that fundamental shift. Be that silent voice of love and light and reason that overshadows fear. Thank you for listening. Bye now.